Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the brand new Bling Bling Jam YouTube station. Today, we are going to interview Kenn Serrano in California. He attended his first Bling Bling Jam this past July, and I'm learning more about him. I know he was a great entertainer, as what I witnessed at Bling Bling Jam, but I don't know how long he's been in the industry, what his business name is, and how he started. So, welcome, Kenn, to the call, and let everybody know who you are, where you're from, what your business name is, and how you got started in balloons. So take it away.
Well, that's a lot.
It's a
So
lot. I've had a conversation.
I tell people originally from my mother, but I grew up in
Yes.
California
Hmm.
and Santa Rosa, San Jose. There was a population pretty big into balloons and magic, and I used to juggle in the park, and so everything kind of melded together. So the company that I have now that I've been running since 2009, back on the Madland, as we say, right, is Aloha Balloon Company. I used to be Balloons with a Twist, and for 20 years on Maui, I was performing and decorating at the hotels up and down Kaanapali, and of course on the south side, all over Kihei and
In
West.
Hawaii. Wow.
Yeah, and so I would island hop, and I would go to Lanai and Molokai and perform for all like the Castle and Cook employees, and I would do shows for different corporations that would come through. I had different people that would hire me through different agencies, so I try to just keep all those open.
That's cool. Great. How long ago did you get started? Did you say like what, how many years ago?
Well, okay, so that was 2009 here, but I've been doing balloons since probably 1985,
Okay.
84. And when I was
You're
17,
dating yourself.
I
I
like both.
yeah, I
I put
started around then too.
the years in. I put the years in, so I'm fine. But at 18, I went to work for Balloons Above the Bay, and he showed me how to do arches, and I was doing peacock arches, and that's the time that IBAC was real big, and I got to
Yeah.
attend that well. And so by 1987, 89, I was already kind of like deep into the balloons and stuff, and I would go to the wharf in Santa Cruz. I was in a group home for a little while, and my parents took real good care of me and would actually like let me go to the wharf and make money as I made balloon animals and
Oh,
did
cool.
stuff. And they found me mentors, and so I found a lot of really positive people that were supporting themselves. My mother was a real big advocate. She's like, "What are you gonna do for the rest of your life? Magic?" I'm like, "Yeah." I was 10, and
Yeah.
so she, as I grew up, she introduced me to a lot of business books and really taught me how to capitalize on what she saw was just a fleeting fancy. But all these years later, 42 plus years later in the business, I'm still cranking out balloons and always amazed at what people are doing with it.
Yeah, I can relate. That's great. So, wow, okay, cool. So you started off tw sort of twisting, but then you're working for a company.
I
So
started
you
out as a juggler magician. I
struggle
was
with
a
it.
couple
Okay.
of years, and I really didn't like the respect I got from the kids. I don't know if it wasn't because I wasn't a good clown, but back then it was just like free for all. And so when I transitioned to be like a serious magician, everything started opening up for me, and I started like working with the Cub Scouts and different community centers, and then I started teaching and then developing after school programs.
Right. So the balloons, were you like the like I was as a magician, the one balloon zoo, or I know you said you worked for a
Oh, yeah,
company
yeah.
before. How did that come in to the magic and
I
the
did have fun
like,
balloons too, for sure. I did have
yeah.
home rubber bubbles, and I did have some Marvin Hardy stuff. He was probably the first deco twister that I think was kind of pushing it. I had always thought that the long skinny balloons should be into this decor. And when I worked for Balloons Above the Bay, he thought that's for clowns. Leave it alone. That'll never take off. And I was already doing like balloon sculptures in my bouquets and stuff, and they tried to suppress it, but I just
Right.
started my own business with it. So, and now everybody seems to deco twist. Like it's a thing like you kind of like move into if you have been in the business any length of time.
Yeah, definitely. What do you think your first balloon was? Was it like everybody else's, the balloon dog, or what do you think if you remember?
It was the dog that ate the sausage.
Yeah.
So basically, yeah. And I think Tom McDonald, not Tom. Anyway, he had to have book out, and it was in there, and I thought that was really cute. And so the first thing that I learned how to do was
You mean Tom Myers?
Tom Meyer. Yeah,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think first time that I put something in the balloon like that, and that was kind of cool, like a magic trick in itself, which I developed into a magic trick after that. So, but yeah, just like everybody else, the dog, and then I made some silly hats, and then I just started really always having a bag of balloons with me, was always practicing, and it didn't really take off until I don't know. I guess I had all the basics down,
Yeah.
but you know, I would never be caught using a Sharpie or using two balloons to make something. That just wasn't gonna like fly. And now it's like I have a whole set of markers. I have like all like different, many styles of balloons that I do that require multiple. So that's I've evolved with the game as well. So that to me makes me feel a little better. But before I was pretty stubborn. I'm like, if I can't do it with one balloon, I don't want to do it. It doesn't
I
look
know what you mean.
yeah, yeah. So it was just I don't know if it was my pride or hubris, but yeah, it
Yeah.
was just
Do you think you did those first balloons with your magic show or your clowning? What do you think? That's usually what we did back then.
so here's the thing with me, and I recognized balloons immediately that they were tangible. And
Hmm.
so nobody could look like they were amazed 5 hours later. Oh, you look amazed. You go see a magic show? That's not the conversation. Oh, that's an amazing balloon animal. Oh, we saw this magician and he was juggling and he rode a unicycle. And then it reignited the conversation. And I thought the better balloons that I made, the more action I would get for it. And so eventually I started blowing them by mouth, and it was a big deal. It was all part of the show, blowing four balloons at one time. Yeah, so Fred Anderson, I think when I was young, he was a San Francisco entertainer. He would come out and have four balloons, and he would like break them in half and let them all go, and it was a big visual. And so that kind of stuff was appealing to me when I was a young entertainer for sure.
Oh,
But
that's
now
great.
tens of thousands of shows, so it's like it
Right.
all works. So
Wow. So the company you were working for, that doing the decor, how quickly did you start doing decor for them in your career?
well, he tried to protect me. So I was like 17 when I worked for him,
Mhm.
and I had put in about 2 years with him, and then I started balloons with a twist, and then I was making my own arches, and I never even thought about air decor. Everything was helium. Helium was 45, $50 a bottle for a big 300 cubic foot, and so I was able to do really cool stuff with Apple and Intel and IBM. I just happened to be in Silicon Valley with the tech, and
That's
I was
great.
popping 5,000 balloons on these lavish Indian parties and big tech parties. And three 5,000 balloon drops was like nothing. And I always used to put in my 260s and would just watch them come down, and it just kind of wasn't really a thing back then. And so it was a lot of fun. But now it's like I can't remember the last time I even did a balloon drop. I think it was 2 years ago for a New Year's event. But I still have a lot of different companies that I still deal with in decor. So
Sure. So with the decor, you deal with you still do decor on your own for companies, right? You're not working for a company doing that. You're
no,
doing
no, no, no. I get asked like Party City recommends me a lot and stuff,
Mhm.
and I have the people that have moved out of the area that were really great companies that passed their business on to me. But I have like every month I was doing Toyota up until like a month ago. But I had that corporate client for like 12, 13 years. And then I do a lot of grand opening for like community events. And so I hire up to 10, 15 entertainers at a time. This past one was fairly small with five of us, six of us, and magicians, jugglers, face painters, still walkers. And so, and then of course I did all the classic decor for the event. So yeah, that's how I try to work it. So I do a lot of work with the schools and then the new communities like Anthem United or different properties, Woodside Homes.
Right. So okay. So how much would you say that you do balloon twisting right now versus decor, and you're still doing
Oh,
magic?
I try not to line twist as much as possible now. Like
Yeah.
when I twist, it's because I'm making these bouquets for delivery for birthdays or, secretaries or whatever so I do a lot of twisting for my bouquets. When it comes to line twisting, like today I picked up a job for Cold Stone Creamery. They want every Sunday. And so I told them that I would do this next one, and then if we'll see how it works. And so that might be a new thing, but it just, it's all very fluid in and out. It just depends who needs what.
Yeah.
And the community's pretty supportive. I just got a job off of like Folsom Community Board. They're like, you should call Lush, you should call this, you should call that. And then they called me and I was able to get the job. So it comes from everywhere.
Sure. So what would you say your main focus is right now in your balloon business? Is it that you're like an agent? You're doing more magic? Are you doing certain balloon deco twisting? What would you say most of your focus is?
So I guess they're complicated questions for me because it's like I've taken 2 years off from doing the fair circuit.
Yeah.
So I
Oh, okay. Oh, cool.
county fairs as a balloon twister and juggler magician. There's
Yeah.
about 2 county fairs. I work with the Rocky Mountain Association of Fairs and Western Fair Association, and it just depends what I have to pay to showcase for them, and then they try to route me through their thing. So that when I'm not doing that, I'm doing the other side of that. So that's why I think it's hard for me. Like I have people that help me that can do jobs, but nobody's me, right? So when it comes to the twisting and stuff, I try to farm that out as much as
Yeah.
possible.
So you just kind of I see. So you are. I have a couple questions. So after the fairs, are you now you're kind of being put being
Sorry.
you're changing. You're not traveling anymore with the fairs.
I stopped traveling as much with the fairs because I wanted to hunker down more with the business here. I feel like I've been performing for a long time,
Yeah.
and being on a 6 foot unicycle and jumping
Yeah.
off time for me, like I had a snowboarding accident I don't know, about 5, 6 years ago. And so that kind of took me
Oh,
off my cycle. But I still kind of ride for publicity and stunts and fun, but I don't put it in my show the way I used to.
I see. So you kind of reinventing yourself in a way,
Yeah,
or
sure, for sure.
okay,
Yeah, yeah.
fair
But
enough.
I keep, it's a curse and a blessing. Um, there, I've tried over and over to find other things that help me support my income, and performing is definitely it's a large part of my pie.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. We all do different things and change it up, so that's good. Yeah.
Completely fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you know Steve Rosen?
Of course, yeah. So
Yeah.
I started a balloon school with Steve. I asked him to help me start what was called Balloon University, and I have that. I set it up at different festivals and events. So
Oh yeah,
um,
he told me that.
yeah, so I had asked him, and then his mom got involved, and things just kind of went south. And rest her soul, she passed on, and Steve kind
Yes,
of came
I met
asked
her.
to do the show. Yeah, Susan was a great hypnotist and
Yeah.
super talented, and she wound up introducing me to the Arizona Fair Association. So I got to work down in Scottsdale, Arizona, because I worked the fairs from Naples, Florida to Scottsdale, Arizona.
Wow, very cool.
Between, yeah. So
Yeah, I went to that
Steve,
convention. Sorry?
you brought Steven up.
Yes.
Rosen.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
he's a friend. Yeah. He's been to Bling Bling Jam before too.
yeah. So when I met him, he wasn't as proficient, but he had all the videos. And then the
Yeah.
last time I saw him, well, no, a few times, he's asked me to help decorate for certain fair functions. And then the last time I saw him, he just, he's so talented and blown up. He's really taken everything to heart. And so it's been fun to see his journey.
Yeah, great. It's a small balloon world. I know. That's awesome.
Right. Well, yeah, I met him on the road in Idaho, Montana.
Mhm.
Yeah, Tetons. Yeah, so
Oh, nice. Very nice. That's great. Well, this is cool. So, okay. So, let me ask you this. So, it sounds like you like the decor and or doing gigs where you can book people like an agent. What do you think at this point? Uh, you want your focus to be in your business now that you're back in one place, or are you just keeping your options open? It sounds like that way as well. But is there any kind of area that you really want to? I know we're all getting older as well, right? And there's
Yeah.
all things that we all want. Like even myself, after COVID, I'm like rethinking how I want to work my business, right? And there's nothing wrong with that. But what do you think you want to do? You want to be like an agent slash doing
Well, I
balloon?
already am, right? Like I
Right?
already own
Perfect.
the certificate, and I already book people on a regular. So
Okay.
there's that. Um, I I enjoy performing, and then I feel like I've been doing it long enough that I can say I'm good at it.
Of
Uh,
course. I thought you were good when I saw you. Yeah.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no,
Yeah. You're a performer.
like, yeah, that was less than a commercial of really what
Yeah.
the show. But honestly, it's just been like this amalgamation of all these different things that I put together just to be an entertainer. And I
Yeah.
think my focus, like I said, it's a love-hate relationship that I have with being an entertainer, because there's all these other avenues that I really want to go down, and still have yet to accomplish as an entertainer. And I'll get on these roles where I'm just doing 5, 6 shows, every day on the weekends or whatever. Or, if I'm really slow, I'll set up shows. So Mike Charles, right? I'm trying to get to Boston with him
Yeah.
to set up shows, and so I've always kind of made jobs where there weren't any, and so I'm going to be going to Boston with him and doing.
Great.
Uh,
Let me know when you're here. He's a great guy.
yeah, no, I
The
really like
bling. Yeah.
energy, and I enjoyed hanging out with him, and so yeah, I. It's not about keeping. I am kind of a big nut too. So the balloons are pretty much always moving. I have a lot of clients that hire me a few times a year, and they're kind of like stacking up on each other. And I'm doing real good about not leaving. And that is like I just got back from Florida, and I missed enough jobs, but I had a great time there, made enough money,
Yeah.
but these people are like, well, I probably won't call them again because it's like they're not there when I pick up the phone. So
Yeah.
that's the trade-off of being on the road. And as much as I love it, I've been trying to be real stable and plant roots. And
Yeah.
yeah,
No,
California's a little expensive, but we'll figure it out.
it's like Massachusetts. I know.
Oh yeah, Austin, I heard is the number one, even more than
It's
California.
really, people have no idea. It's like really expensive.
I
Yeah.
looked at the cost of living out there; it was pretty high.
Yes, 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 no question. Oh, that's cool though. That's great. So, well, this is great in terms of like what you're looking to do. Now, have you thought about doing anything else specific in addition to that, like any kind of like Kelly mentioned, which I'm into too, like a motivational show or a trade show, or is there another area that you wanted to get into your business, like bar mitzvahs or anything like that that you thought about, or is it pretty much the agency and the deco twisting, which is great, and you
Yeah.
have a bunch of different it sounds like you have a bunch of different corporate gigs that
Mhm.
call you, like the Stone Creamery you mentioned.
Right. Yeah. Toyota. So I do a lot of work with the Jewish community around here, and so we have Hanukkah coming up. I'll go and I actually do a lot of magic shows between my area. So I go to Grass Valley. I travel,
Yeah,
up hours for some of these local shows, and yeah, so they recognize what I do and get balloons and magic and performance as well, and they send that out live to who's ever watching on there.
of course.
And so that's nice. It just depends where we are in the year, really what's going on. Like the schools around here, I'm pretty tight with. This is El Dorado Hills, is a really small community next to Folsom. Folsom's pretty big
Hmm.
and really well in Folsom. We got best balloon company for like 13 years straight. Uh,
Congratulations, that's great.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Sure.
Cost me a lot of money. Um,
I'm sure nothing's free.
I,
Do you pay for it? Pay for your
I
time?
paid for it. I paid for it.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, but El Dorado Hills is even more different. So I do a lot of work with the community service district. I do a lot of work with the schools, the high schools over here, and the middle schools. And so it just depends what time of the year
Mhm.
it is, to be out. Like I really feel it doesn't have to be seasonal, but it is.
Okay, cool, cool. Well, that's cool. Well, if there's any, and I tell this to everybody too, if there's anything you ever want to pick my brain about, I'm always open to that because I love to chat about business and stuff with people,
All right.
and
Okay.
and that's what we do. So we're a great
Yep.
community that way.
I'm upping my website right now. I have a
Yeah,
net score, and you talk about my focus and stuff. I spent a lot of money trying to get some really good equipment so that I could start doing some instructional videos and start to put those away and uh,
great.
being a little more active with passing down my knowledge. Even though there's a lot of people out there already doing it, I always feel
Right.
like books. There's always room for one more on the shelf. So
100%, 100%. I think we might be close in age, so I get what you're saying too. And it's always going to do those things. There's no question. And at the end of the day, this has been my saying of the day when it comes to business. Common sense is not too common anymore. So sometimes there's things that, you don't have to have the most flashiest thing or the most fanciest website or whatever, but it's also knowing how to talk to people, having a conversation and kind of like some of the things you were sharing with me that your mom taught you about business, which I think is great. My mom was the same way. What was that?
show business. Show has 4 letters,
Yes.
has 8 letters. That means you
Yes.
start at the business than you do at the show.
Exactly. Exactly.
Little things like that. You're like, yeah, I get it.
Yes.
So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Very cool. Well, was there anything else that we left out that you want to share with everybody watching this? And and let me add to this, you guys. I forgot to say this. I Joe did a little Ken did a little show at Bling Bling. That's why I was saying I saw him perform, which is awesome. But I wanted to say to everybody here, if there's anything else you wanted to share about about your career that you want the viewers to hear, to know who you are, anything we forgot about, or anything else you want to share?
I don't know. My website's alohaballooncompany.com.
Right?
And Serrano with Aloha Balloon. I'm here. I'm open. I'm available. I'm happy to talk balloons with anybody. I'm real
Or magic?
I'm
Yeah.
approachable. I just, I love to pass down the knowledge, and I certainly love to perform and entertain and make people happy. And I think that was probably one of the best things that I loved about your convention is that not only did you have a lot of professionals that were completely approachable and kind, but they were all kind of seekers of the same thing. And so I always felt like the energy was always positive and everybody was there to make each other happy. And that's all we were. We were just all happy around each other. And that was, it just made for a lot of amazing moments with a lot of people that, were strangers before I went. So
Yeah,
that was really
I'm glad you experienced that, Ken. You totally fit right in. So we appreciate that. And we like
many
to share.
calls, Billy Damon, and, you
He's
got,
great.
right. I mean, it's just, I love it. I think that, I that's basically it's like Fair Family, when you're on the road, you see a lot of the same people, and it's
Yeah.
balloon. It's different between the magic community and the juggling. Like
Oh,
not
yeah.
understand like across the board how
Yeah.
special the balloon community is. Just
Yeah.
or I remember like, oh, that's a wonderful stegosaurus. Will you teach me? No. I'm
You're
like,
right.
oh, okay. But now it's like everybody. You see this?
It depends,
Oh, yeah.
like everything else. It depends upon uh how do I say this? Upon the people and the atmosphere, and nothing against anybody else, but it really depends
So
upon.
everybody was real willing to give and share, and nobody once ever said, "Can I learn that?" And somebody denied them that access to that.
Right.
And that to me, it was really special to be able to have, again, I've been in the business for a long time, and I still have a lot to learn. But there were a lot of people that I felt that, in another environment may have been unapproachable, and in this
Oh,
environment,
yeah. I don't. Yeah. Well, yeah. Thank you for that. Uh, but let's talk about blooming in a second. I'm gonna add to that. But was there anything else that we forgot to say about you that you were sharing out about your career or anything before
um,
pleasure to bling?
I don't know. I mean, I started out as a young actor and went to a clown, turned into a
Oh,
magician.
wow. I didn't know you were an actor. Cool.
Yeah, and then I spent 8 years in Japan performing, and
Wow. Yeah, tell us. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I was
What were you performing in Japan?
so the first well, I was a balloon twister my very first time, and then I was a juggler and then a magician. So um, the Yokohama Hankurankai was the 130th anniversary of Yokohama being a port and the 100th anniversary of Yokohama being a city. And so
Wow.
invited 10 performers from around the world, and I was chosen from California. And so they had people from Scotland and Russia. And so it was really amazing to be around these talents. And, we got off after what 8-hour flight for another 7-hour bus ride to go dance for 5 hours and learn all these Japanese moves. It was pretty funny. And then so I spent 3 years that 3 months, excuse me, 3 months that time. And then when I came back, they invited me right back, and I got to
Wow.
perform in Nagasaki at Orandamura. And Orandamura in Japanese means Holland Village. And the Dutch and the Japanese have an amazing relationship from, I don't know, the 14th century or whatever. And so they built a cultural theme park. And so I've worked at both of those theme parks in Nagasaki for several years. And then, of course, all through Tokyo, Hokkaido, and northern Japan, I've been able to kind of go up. And I didn't really study Japanese until I went to the University of Hawaii. They had a satellite class on Maui, and so I got to study Japanese reading and writing, and
Wow.
really involved with the culture. I'm divorced now, but I married a Japanese woman, and we had
Okay.
a beautiful son, Brandon, and so yeah,
Japanese. Right.
Nihonjin. So for sure,
Wow. Oh, that I didn't know any of that, Ken. That is so cool. Wow. How cool is that? So,
I'm
wow.
not relevant to the conversation. This is just stuff that, being an entertainer, you wind up having these conversations. And I
Yeah.
was at a party, and someone asked me if I liked rice.
You liked rice?
And I said, yeah, I love rice. They're like, yeah, I'd like to send you to Japan. I'm like, okay. And
That is amazing. Yeah, it's too bad you didn't meet Anao Osaka from Japan.
I know,
Nate.
I know Osaka. I know now Osaka.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's come to Bling Jam several times. We're
yeah,
friends.
he's a good friend.
Yes, yes, that is so cool.
And I got to hang out with him at World Balloon Convention
Oh
as
yeah,
well.
yeah, yep,
We were friends for years on Facebook, and then finally he got all his like notoriety and all this stuff, and so finally
yeah,
he's coming out and getting local gigs, and so that was really fun to meet him.
yes. I'm hoping he's gonna come back. He's got some things going on with his family and stuff, and every once in a while I still hear from him. He's great. So
Uh,
yeah, yeah, that's awesome. Wow, Ken, I had no idea about that. That is so cool. So what else did you do for traveling or being an actor? I mean, what did you do for acting? You said you were an actor.
I was into plays. I did a lot of
Okay.
local stuff, and when I was really super young, I did a lot of extra work and stuff. We did little things. I was born in Burbank, and so we
Okay.
find. I mean, I don't know if you remember Police. You want to talk about dating myself?
Yeah.
Police with Angie Dickinson, so we got to be an extra in that. I was on As the World Turns as an
Oh,
extra,
wow.
and so that kind of gave me the bug. And then I was kind of
Yeah.
like and doing some theater and stuff. And then I pretty much was acting all the way through high school in different plays and stuff. I had a teacher that was an actor who recognized me. He did a lot of commercial work, and I wound up taking his classes. So at the time I was 14, 15, 16, I was real like savvy in front of like writing a script and being in camera and being in front of people. And so by the time I was 17, 18, I was already a professional entertainer, doing a lot of gigs and stuff like that. So my mom went to school to be a paralegal, and her classmate had put himself through the University of Santa Clara doing magic.
Wow.
He did magic shows to pay for his education and stuff. I just thought that was the neatest thing. And when I asked him to teach me, he said no. And that went on for about a year and a half. And then he said, why don't you just go to the library and read? And so that's how I learned how to be a magician. So, have it
Wow.
tell me, go to the library and read.
That is so cool. I did some acting too, but nothing like yours. I went to Tufts University Magic Circle Theater for the summer. It was fun, but that's great. Wow, that's cool. Amazing. You were on a soap opera. I'll check you out.
That
That's
was really, super. We were really young kids in there, but
Of
that
course.
I definitely remember the atmosphere. I remember getting bit by the bug. I remember dancing at a very early age and all these little things, and the kids making fun of me for like these dramatic scenes that I'd be doing, asking somebody to marry me or whatever it was. And of course, I'm only like 7 or 8, but
Yeah.
uh, yeah, my mom didn't want me to have any of that life, and
Oh, I can see that though.
I still became an entertainer and a magician. So it was quite interesting.
Of course, of course. Wow. Hey, anything else you want to share? We got this out of you. Is there anything else we missed?
School
I
to be an
mean,
accountant and didn't like it.
what was that? What was that?
I went to school to be an accountant.
Oh yeah.
Spent 2 years trying to be an accountant, and then I got invited to go to Japan, and so I thought that was the school of hard knocks. So I thought I should go, and school will still be there, and I did that I don't know how many times, but um, yeah. So
I
I
had to do
but
that stuff too, going to business school. I didn't like it, so I get it. Yeah.
yeah, and now I realize it's funny because every time I try to get a job, I was even working for Magic Inc. during the pandemic, and
Oh,
I'm like,
really? Okay.
yeah, so I was creating magic, and I got to see a lot of behind the scenes was a lot of magicians that they commissioned them for a lot of their kidding. In fact, Billy Damon, I did hundreds of his kits.
Oh,
I don't
cool.
know Billy Damon's Animinimals.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking
I know
about?
about it. I think yes, I think so.
So he's got these little like animals that look like balloon animals, and it's a magic trick where you
I
take a look.
remember, I think when that came out, so you made
It's
that.
really cute. So I got to kit a lot of those for him and stuff like that. But that was a lot of fun. So yeah, I mean, everything's kind of geared around what I do between the magic and the balloons and the
Yeah.
unicycling.
Oh, you're definitely a great performer, so I
Yeah,
get
I
it.
fire eat and all that stuff. So it's just something I always wanted to do and kept with it.
Awesome. Awesome. Wow. Well, that's great. Thank you for sharing that to everybody and myself. I didn't know this is the point of this. This is great. I'm sure you have a lot of great stories. Uh, Loving it. Was there anything else we missed?
Um,
I'm not in
but,
a rush. I'm just asking you.
but yeah, I mean, I'm an open book, so I don't really talk about a lot of this stuff anymore. So
No,
I
I
don't
know, and it's hard to talk about yourself. That's
talk
why,
about thousands of shows. You're like,
right.
okay, talk about the libraries, or do we talk about the corporate? Do we talk about how we got here? Do we talk
Yeah,
about so? Yeah, I mean, I'm free to answer whatever.
sure. And like I said, it's hard to talk about yourself. I'm trying to get it out of you. You know what I'm saying? So to make it so to find things out, because
I
again,
appreciate that. Thank you, because yeah, I
sure.
don't have a conversation with hardly anybody. So
Right. Well, this is great. It's been great having a conversation with you and everybody on YouTube. So,
yeah,
okay, going back to Bling Bling Jam. So, it was awesome to meet you, and I know it was your first experience at the event. If you want to, in your own words, and again, this is nothing scripted here. It's whatever you think,
yeah.
but what you liked about it, and I know you were kind of saying that already, and thank you for that.
Just to reiterate the same stuff is that
Yeah,
there's a level and a caliber of people that you don't get very often with this size of an event. So the fact that it is intimate and smaller a little bit, you're seeing the same faces, we're all in the same room, we're sitting at the same tables, everybody's laughing at the same jokes, dancing around each other. And it was really nice, I think, also to have like I became a lot closer with the manufacturers and some of the balloon distributors and
yeah,
that kind of stuff that those are relationships that need fostering. That it's good to know what they're working on. It's good to be able to give them feedback. Uh,
yeah.
you know,
No, for sure. It's a new day in the
anything.
balloon world. Yeah.
Yeah, and so because of what was going on with Qualitex, I have to look elsewhere for my stuff, and uh,
Mhm.
you know, I yeah, I fell in love with a lot of new products and new people and stuff, and it was really neat to be able to be that environment that close to everybody. I mean, not
Yeah.
just the artists that came over from overseas, Ireland and England and Australia and all that. I thought that was amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
again, it's that type of caliber of people, and I got to compete and got a couple little trophies, and you
Yeah.
know, get to tell my people and my customers about it. So I think that's probably why I do it. You
Yeah.
know,
And I'm not correcting you here, but just so the viewers know, our event's about 100 with over 150 people that came, and they come and go at the event, which is nice, and it is a very intimate type of
there
atmosphere.
were people, but I mean,
Yeah.
the teachers and the instructors were always in the room, and they were always
Yes.
and they're always
Sharing.
conversation,
Yes.
and they
Yes.
were always jamming together, and they were seekers as well. They were learning from everybody, and just because show you an idea that all of a sudden you go, look what I did with your idea, and then it's like the exchange is amazing. So
Yeah, yeah. And the balloon brands that you saw there, just so everybody knows, we had Ellie Tex as a new brand. They were amazing. We
it's
had Ecomex with which is Argon balloons, and of course Batalatex, which was amazing. And then of course All American Balloons was there, and then we had High
uh,
Float, and we had the jewelry lady, and then we had that guy Joe with the 3D. He was awesome too, which is some
oh,
good,
all 3D products. I thought some of that stuff was like off the.
amazing.
I would never. I just don't see that stuff. And so, his get up with the speakers and the little tip jar and the shelf and the
Yeah, I
whole
loved it.
stuff. And yeah, I thought it was very clever and very
I think isn't he near? He's in California too. But I don't know if he's near. California's such a big state. I forget where he's from, but he's somewhere in California. But yeah, he's not.
yeah.
He's not near you.
I don't know him, so he could
Oh,
be.
oh, okay. Thought you
I
might. Okay.
I keep my head down. I
Got
you
it.
know, I'm telling you, like I know the people like in the circle we've talked about, oh, do you know now? Yeah, but when it comes to like knowing anybody
Got it.
local,
Yeah, it was the first time I met him, so and he was great too. So I don't know, but I loved his stuff. So yeah, yeah. And you kind of look like him. So, yeah, that look. So yeah.
I have to
Aw-
remember, like, yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. Well, lastly, and again, in your own words, I know you had a good time. And again, I'm not telling you what to say, but if you want to let people know how you feel, why you think they should consider coming to Bling Bling Gym.
Well, I think that it's fit for all levels. I think what was really nice is that if you were just starting out, I saw people that had no clue what end to hold,
Yeah.
and they,
Yep. True.
uh, they got to sit down with Patrick, and he
Yep.
did a good job at accepting a lot of newbies and taking them through the rung, and I really like it just fit everywhere. Like I learned a lot of new things. I don't think I learned any new techniques, but I learned a lot of
Yeah.
new, right? Like, and that was really huge. And I made connections with artists that I would never ever have access to that I'm still talking to
Yes.
now.
That's what
And
we do. Yep.
you know, what my one relationship took me all the way to Jacksonville because of bling bling and stuff. And so I was able
Great.
to go there and do some airbrushing. But um it's just I like I would definitely go every year just because I can see the growth in my own work and the things that I wanted to work on. When I came home, I was super creative and made a bunch of stuff that even though like a lot of people seem to like, why aren't you going to make something? I'm like, I'm trust me, I'm picking up on it. And
Yeah.
then when I get home, I jam with my stuff, and then I was able to make some really amazing things, and that was because of that event. And so I think that it lingers with you as well, much after you're there. Like, I talked to some other people that are like, "Oh, I'm just still pumped and making balloons," and it's
Yeah.
like it really, yeah. So it keeps the spark alive, and you
Yeah.
know, I'm all about that. I'm all about being in the game for this long and still having an appetite for it. You-
Yes. Well,
You're right. So many
you
like
came in with the right attitude though too, Ken, and it's a testament to you. You came you have good energy, but you also came in open to it, which is great. And
yeah.
I think there's something to be said about that as well with people. You know what I'm saying? So
40 years doesn't mean anything. When you
yeah,
walk in brand new and even if I felt familiar with something, I always wanted to look at it with fresh eyes and doing the build with Darren. Sorry, we did
oh yeah,
the Street Fighter build. working on that, and the way that came to fruition and stuff was a lot of fun. So there are things and happenings within happenings, and so it's just, again, it was just a great event and allowed me to really kind of exercise that creative muscle that I feel like I've been so lonely with. It's just me doing my thing, and it's always like, oh, your work is great, but I'm like, you should see the people I know. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Oh, that's great. Well, thank you for that. And Ken, honestly, it was amazing having you at the event, and you totally fit right in. Your Like I said, your energy is great and all that. And we loved having you. So that was
well,
yeah. And we look forward to you coming back again, and who knows in the future. Maybe we'll have you teach something at some point if you're open to that too. I'm always
yeah,
open
of course.
to
Yeah,
things.
of course. Yeah, maybe you can take something off my convention price there.
Oh, well, my teachers, we do more than that, but we do different things. Yes, we can discuss that. Yeah.
but, but
We,
yeah, I have taught many different venues and avenues. I teach juggling, I teach magic, I teach balloons. I have my balloon school. So I have my own methods of doing things with people who,
yeah,
have a hard time pleasing other people. Like you'd be surprised how many people just don't want to disappoint you. They're like, oh, that's okay. Like, you got to fail before you can be good. So
exactly. Exactly. That's right. That's right.
anyway,
That's the right attitude. That's right. So that's great. That's great. Wow. Well, thank you so much for your time for doing this for everybody. And also, I hope you guys enjoyed hearing Ken. And please show him some love. And when this goes live this week, put some thumbs up, some comments. Again, I'm sure he'd like to hear from you. And if there's anything else, let us know. But again, thank you so much, Ken. This was great. And everybody, let's bling it on. And this will air on Wednesday. So at 1 p.m. East Coast time. So we'll see everybody next time, and over and out. Thank you so much, Ken.
aloha. Thank you.
Thank you.